Coach, obviously a rematch with Ole Miss this week. I guess what do you kind of take away from that first matchup that you can kind of use in preparation for this week's matchup?
Certainly, you go back and review that game like everybody does, and try to figure out what we can do better in terms of planning and practicing, and both ways, the good and the bad. I'm sure they're doing the same, and we just didn't defend well enough. We scored enough points, I think, to win a game on the road, and we just had some breakdowns, and we got to try to clean them up.
We'll go to Paul, and then we'll go back to the cameras and John.
Coach, obviously every game's important down the stretch, and your team's been in this position before, but is there a thin line between keeping your emotions in check with the rivalry game, and how thin is that line, or your guys just focused on one game at a time, obviously with all of them meaning pretty much important, all of them here on out?
Yeah, I haven't, been with them since Saturday afternoon. We were off yesterday, and we haven't done anything yet as a group today. But we've got, a veteran group. We got mature guys. They've handled situations all year long, like you would expect them to do. And I'm thinking it'll be the same this week. I mean, they understand what's at stake. There's a lot at stake. I mean, big picture. Not just because it's a rivalry game, but because of 6 games left in the season and time's running out, and every game matters.
How's it going, Chris? Obviously, no one needs to overstate how big this rivalry game is and how much it means to fans. But kind of considering the context of both teams being 6-6 in SEC play, needing this one, based on your experience, have kind of what's at stake in rivalry games, like how there's so much at stake in this one, could that kind of play a role in upping its intensity, you think?
Oh, I think the game will be very intense, regardless of it being a rivalry or not. Coach Beard's teams play really, really hard, and they're always going to be well prepared, and I'm sure they're talking about the same things that we're talking about now, is the importance of each and every game. It's like what I say about the actual games when they unfold. Everything matters. Every possession matters. But down the stretch, they're more important because there's only a few left. You don't have time. Time runs out. And I've been talking about opportunities all year long with this team, and that we were going to have a bunch of them, especially when the SEC play got here, and we have. And just like I tell our team, they're wasted opportunities if you don't take advantage of them. And then you don't want to be down the stretch having to have a bunch of must-win games in order to, get where we're trying to go. So, the rivalry is what it is. We understand the importance of it. We understand what it means in the state. We understand what it means to our fan base. And we understand that we lost the first game on the road. So that certainly is going to add to what's going on this week.
We'll go second row, and then we'll go down to Justin and Benjamin.
Coach Sean obviously been in the starting lineup the past few games. How do you feel he's doing in that role?
He's done well. He's playing hard like he usually does. He's one of our better checkout guys that we got. He's consistently shielding his man, from getting offensive rebounds, and he's really consistent that way. And what I like about him is we're working on everyone's game all the time. We're trying to accentuate their positives and stay away from their negatives, or improve their negatives when, we're not out in front of everybody. And so when they get in the game, they can do other things. And with Sean, just driving in that lane and playing off 2 feet and making others better, and understanding that, if he doesn't have a clear path to the goal, there's other people that are open, because that helps, come over and slid over. And if you've really paid attention, he's doing much better when it comes to that. Before he had a one-track mind when he drove the ball. He was trying to score each and every opportunity, and he's really improved, that way, and making good decisions. And then, his shot selection. I know he's not shooting the percentage that he would like from 3, but he's been really working on it, and he's taking the right ones.
Chris, going off of that, and this may be a question more for down the line, but as DJ works his way back, how much do you have to consider, I guess, where he now fits in the rotation, given, I guess, the confidence and the momentum the group is getting, with Sean in the starting lineup and the rotation that it is right now?
Oh, we're going to welcome DJ back with open arms as soon as he's ready to go. I mean, he's overall one of our better players. Obviously, he does so many things for our basketball team, and he has for 2 years. And, like I said Saturday night, it's proud of the fact that he tried to go. It was pretty obvious that he wasn't 100%, but he convinced me he was going to give it a shot. And the trainer said that there was nothing that would, he wouldn't have a setback, I guess. He can always get hurt, but it wasn't like by playing that it was going to hurt the injury any worse than it already was. So we decided to give him a shot. But then after his first run, he said he just couldn't go. And so hopefully by Wednesday he will be ready.
Go ahead, Benjamin.
Yeah, it's only been 3 weeks, but have you noticed, do you feel like Ole Miss is a different team than they were the last time you played them? And if so, in what ways? I know they've obviously played a really tough schedule these last few games.
I wouldn't say they're a different team. They're getting better in different areas like you would expect them to, like everybody tries to. But they're certainly a team that has gotten better as the season has unfolded. And we know each other very well. And, it'll be about who plays better on Wednesday. That's the bottom line, is who executes better, who's more productive, who plays better when the lights are on.
We'll go back to Steph and Paul.
Chris, you guys are expecting another sellout on Wednesday, and on KenPom they have Mississippi State as like a top 10 home court advantage, team. What have you thought of kind of the environment you guys have built here, and why you think, the Hump has been a place that seems to be making a difference?
Yeah, I'm excited about the crowds. I think we had 3 sellouts last year, if I'm not mistaken, and we've already surpassed that with, a few games left on the season, and we certainly appreciate them being our 6th man. They certainly helped us down the stretch against Arkansas. The place got really loud the last few defensive possessions and kind of got us over the hump to be able to bring it home. In terms of home court advantage, I don't know anything about that, but I would imagine if that's probably because we must play better at home in terms of point differential, maybe some efficiency metrics that are out there. And part of that probably is because, we've stunk a lot on the road this year. And so therefore, your numbers are a little bit better at home. But don't get me wrong. I mean, our fans have grown, and we're appreciative of it. And hopefully, they continue to like our style of play, and that our kids compete, every single night and leave everything on the floor.
Your SEC schedule has been well documented how tough it is. But when you look at the SEC overall, kind of top heavy again, and some teams struggling on the bottom. But you feel like the SEC is stronger this year, especially in the middle group of teams?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be before the year started, just following recruiting, who had retained players, who everyone was signing. And you didn't have as many first-year coaches, as you did the year before. And everybody kind of had their footing, if you will, from a staff's perspective. And for the most part, it's unfolded that way. I do think that it's stronger from top to bottom. There's just a little more depth than maybe there was last year. Everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about their own league that way, but the numbers prove it, and it's just every single night, if you're not ready to go, you're going to get beat. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. Even the teams that don't have as good a record as everybody else, they're still fighting and scratching and clawing and trying to put themselves in position to win games. And but I agree. I think the league, just for my 2 years, is a little bit deeper than it was last year.
We'll go back to John, and then we'll swing it down to Justin. We've got time for a couple more.
Chris, with all these, Power 5 head coaches, they all have, long paths of coaching at different places. So I didn't know if, your past with kind of Chris Beard, if you guys knew each other at all kind of back in the day at certain stops or whatever. But what's your kind of relationship like with him, and how well do you know him?
Yeah, I've known Coach Beard for a long time. We came up in a similar fashion in terms of where we coached when we were younger, and smaller colleges, junior colleges, and got to know him, just from the business back in the late 90s. So, I've known him for quite a long time, and have always respected his work. He's always won everywhere he's been, and, he gets after it, and, he's known for that. And his teams play the right way, and they play with a ton of passion and desire. And we've got a ton of respect for those guys. But, Wednesday night we're going to both be trying to, beat each other brains out.
Go ahead, Justin.
Chris, you talked a little bit on Saturday just about the trust that you have in Josh and that he's earned. I'm curious what plays into not just a young player, but any player that you coach, earning that trust from you, whether foul trouble or taking shots at a certain time in the game, anything like that.
Yeah, I like everyday guys. I like guys that show up to practice or film or weights and are ready to work. Certainly, nobody's perfect. There's days you don't feel as well as others, and other things may distract you. Life gets in the way, if you will, of what we're trying to do. But Josh is an everyday guy. I don't think he's ever really had a bad practice since he's been here. He's had better ones than others, but it's never where he wasn't focused and he wasn't coachable. He gives effort every single day, and I love that about him and about the players that have that mindset. And for him to come in as a newbie and be able to do that is impressive. And then the 2 foul deal, we're just a little thin out there, and I do trust him. And I haven't done that this year with him, but it was so early in the game. I told myself that hey, we're going to play him, and I told one of my staff member that was as well, like, we're going to have to play him. We didn't have to. We could probably play other guys, but then when DJ had his situation, it was going to be a little more difficult to do that. But he just continues to get better and better and keep earning our trust.